together. It seems like you have been away forever. Things change, things rearrange, the house remains the same. I can't wait for you and I to be together. Cause it's your love, your love, your love, your love, your love. I'm forever in your love. Cause it's your love, your love, your love, your love, your love. I'm forever in your love. I'm feeling down, my head's spun around. Come on, kitty, it's heading to town. I got a case of the blue days, want a tree for a rainy day. Pick up a stick, give it a flick. Wish you were here, it's making me sick. Another day is gonna stray. I'm only 7 days away from your love, your love, your love, your love, your love. I'm forever in your love. Cause it's your love, your love, your love, your love, your love. I'm forever in your love. In 6 days, you and I will be together. I can't wait to give you so much pleasure. 5, 4, 3, the longest is for me. 2 to 1, you here, let's have some fun. Baby, I just wanna kiss your lips forever. It's your love, your love, your love, your love, your love. I'm forever in your love. Cause it's your love, your love, your love, your love, your love. I'm forever in your love. Cause it's your love.
Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. If you're brand new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by.
Annie talks, Annie talks. Welcome to the show. Here we go with Annie talks. Annie talks, Annie talks. Welcome to the show. Here's your host. It's Annie talks.
Hello everybody. Hey Johnny, how are you?
Hey Annie, how you doing?
Good, good, good. I'm not really sure who's here yet, but hello everybody. This is Annie Talks, and featured today is Johnny freaking Rico. Say hello, Johnny.
Hi, how's everyone doing? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday indeed. So, let's see. We decided to launch this pilot for anybody that's out there right now currently. We decided to launch this pilot to kind of give ourselves a platform to talk about certain things. And that would be, in this case, we're going to be talking about things to do in Southern California. And a little bit of history of how this came about was that Johnny freaking Rico and I were at a meetup, a recent meetup, and we met Jaterna, Felicity, and Tyler Ty, Magnificent uh, uh, music drummer. And then there was another California meetup later that both you and I couldn't go to where other people met. So we decided that we were going to, they were asking questions about like, what's to do here in Southern California, specifically Felicity was. So we were like, well, yeah, there's this, that, this. So birth this platform that came about, and we decided let's have like different things. And the first thing we'll talk about is things that we can do in Southern California. You know what, Johnny? To be rude, I was super rude by not introducing you. Why don't you tell us first a little bit more about yourself, Johnny, who Johnny is, and then what you do on Twitch. Let's go from there.
Oh, yeah, sure. My name is Johnny frickin' Rico. So I live in Southern California my whole life. I'm a part-time, I'm a Twitch affiliate, part-time streamer. So I stream a lot of video games with my friends. And I do Twitch things from time to time. I have a show with my sister too, where we kind of sing and talk about different topics.
Right.
But yeah, so I've been probably watching a lot of streamers for a long time, as opposed to I've probably been streaming for maybe 5 months, maybe about 5 months or so.
Cool. Well, there you go. So Johnny and I also met on Twitch Sings, right? That's the platform there where you and I met. And then and we've just been like supporting each other. He'll stream, I'll stream, and we both support each other and our streams and our respective streams and whatnot. So there you go. And that's how we've come to know each other. So, and then as of recent, we've been playing video games, like different things. Sometimes you'll host it, and sometimes I'll host it, and we have what we call game night, and it's been pretty fun.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of fun. There's so many games out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
One of my favorites, one of my favorites as of late has been Roblox, of course. And then I think you turned me on to, what's it called? It's called Tycoon 2 Theme Park
Tycoon 2.
There
Yeah.
you go. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, my kids showed me some new games over the weekend that are really neat. So I think next time we have a game night, we'll do that. Do those games as well. I think.
Which one is that one?
There's a new one called Rake.
The Rake. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a horror-based game, but it's Roblox. It's it's not scary,
Right.
but it's pretty interesting.
It's been pretty fun. We played Survivor too, not too long ago, and then
That was surprisingly very fun. Survivor. It's based like on the TV show. And
Yes.
I remember my kids playing that, and I'm like, Survivor, and I took, I didn't think much of it, but they put a lot of effort into that game.
It was
It's really-
so fun. We played. Who was it that told us about that? That was Sir Chris One.
Sir Chris, and you know what? Sir Chris is, every time I jump on Roblox, he's been jumping on with me. So I've been showing him some games as
very
well. There's
cool.
one called Survive that he joined me with, and it was a lot of fun.
Yay! Want to say hi to Evie. Hi, Evie. How
Evie,
are
how you doing?
Yay! Hope more people join. If not, it's just a conversation that we're having, and people can always watch the VOD later as well. So, okay. So as we were talking very, very briefly in the very beginning, part of why we decided to do this was because, I think you.
Well, it
were
was
in,
yeah, if I could say something,
Yeah.
I think it's great, these meetups for the Twitch community, for streamers, and Twitch Sings community. I think it's great. I know Felicity had one in Florida. She got a meetup with Super Happy Puppy, and I think Sugarrath, and a bunch of other people. Yeah, and they had a great time. I think it's great. I know Felicity travels a lot.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where this whole idea came from, because I guess Felicity's having family that's going to come down to California, and she wanted to know, hey, what are some good things to check out? Because everyone knows the amusement parks and the parks in general, like the state parks, but there's a lot of hidden gems, a lot of hidden areas in Southern California and in San Diego area that are really neat, and it's worth
Yeah.
checking out, especially if you have kids or if you have family, because a lot of times, your grandpa is not going to want to get on the roller coaster at Six Flags Magic Mountain. He's going to want to check out different types of things.
Yeah,
Maybe-
I mean,
have a
the
big dinner together, have a good time as a family. You can't expect everyone to do theme parks, even
true.
though they're great, and that's what Southern California is really known for.
True. And the good thing is, the list that we have that we've compiled today consists of uh, different types of attractions and theme parks that speak to all ages. So it's not limited to just the fun and the wild and the things of that nature. It's something for everyone and for all ages.
Yeah, a
So
wide variety of different things for different ages for the
yeah,
ages.
yeah,
Yeah.
very cool. Okay, so um, uh, Johnny just did an intro on himself, and we just told you a little bit about how he and I both met, and we're both here local in Southern California, and he is a gamer. I'm a gamer. I'm a Twitch things streamer and whatnot. So the whole background behind Johnny and myself. So without further ado, oh my lord, we'll go ahead and get started with this list. Let's first start. I'm going to switch us over to a different scene here. We are going to start with the first on this list is called the Getty. So it's something I've never visited personally, but I know that Johnny has. So we're going to show some pictures, and Johnny's going to talk a little bit more about the Getty. So go for it.
Okay, so the Getty Museum,
Mm-hmm.
it's a really great place to check out. My ex-wife, actually, she was a multimedia student. That's where I met her in college. I was studying programming. She was studying multimedia, and that's when I first went there. She actually went there for some art things because she would do graphical design kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I went there, and I was just blown away by it. It's free to go there. All you have to do is pay for parking. I think it's about $15 for parking. There's a little tram that takes you up to the main portion of the museum.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. The building, the architecture, the layout, some of the outside areas with the gardens, and it's just phenomenal area. And it's kind of up on top of the hill, so it's not easily accessible. You have great views from up there, and the art, the paintings. Wow. I mean, I'm no huge art fan, but I know there's some really famous works of art
Right.
there at that particular one. That's for the whole West Coast. So it's definitely if you want a slow paced kind of environment that's beautiful, be able to take a look at some priceless works of art, statues.
Mm-hmm. I
Definitely
mean,
worth checking out.
besides the art inside, the art
Mhm.
outside, like the architecture, the structure, even in of
Yeah.
itself, is just remarkable. Again, I've never been, but these are definitely some things to take into consideration. Not only will you see beautiful art inside, but you'll also see beautiful artwork outside. And
Yeah,
we're
they
showing
have
some
a
of these
couple of
pictures.
buildings on the
Hmm.
outside, and the architecture. I think it's based on the Roman Empire, like a
Ah,
recreation of it.
right.
It's not huge, but it's beautiful. It's just a great place to spend looking at art, especially if you're really into art. And
Hmm.
it's beautiful area. It's located just where the 10 freeway and the 405 meet. It's just north of there. So it's kind of an isolated area on the hill. It actually was in danger of catching fire when we had the latest fires
Oh
going
my
on.
goodness, that's very
It came
true.
very close to burning down the Getty. So if you get a chance, check it out before it burns down.
Okay, so the address, if anybody's taking note, is 1200 or 1200 Getty Center Drive in Los Angeles. Opens around 10 a.m. 10 a.m. on most days. And did you say that it was free parking or no? No
You pay for
parking.
parking, but it's free. There's admission to the museum is free,
Hmm.
and just like the description shows, it's famous, sizable, free museum highlighting American and European art, architecture, and manicured gardens. So beautiful place. Anyone familiar with the Grand Theft Auto 5? I'm just gonna throw this out there. They made in the game. They made basically the main city in the game, Los Santos, is based on L.A. And they actually have they created the Getty. It's not in the same location as it really is in real life, but they actually made a recreation of it in the game. So
Oh,
anyone
wow.
who's familiar with it, they'll know that the Getty is actually in Grand Theft Auto 5. So
Evie asked the question, is it it's in your own backyard and you haven't taken us there yet?
yeah, maybe we'll plan to do a live stream at some time
Oh my God, that
and
would
actually
be
go
so
there
fun.
because
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
beautiful. Oh, it's worth checking out. It is a beautiful area.
yeah.
I never heard of it until my ex had taken me there. Or I think we were dating at the time, but we weren't married.
Ah,
Uh,
yeah,
I went a couple times with her, and I was just, wow, this is
very cool.
incredible.
All right. So that is called the Getty. Like I said, a beautiful structure inside and out. The architecture is just absolutely gorgeous. You saw the aerial view was just amazing. And then, of course, all of the art inside is exquisite, from paintings to statues and other types of art form if you're into museums and that kind of thing. And it's in a really nice part of Los Angeles. So definitely something to take a look at. Erica. Oh, hi, Erica. Hey, Hannah. I'm working with
Hey,
you.
Erica
No
Monkey, how you
problem.
doing?
Nice to see you. We're just talking about things to do here in Southern California, and we started off with the Getty. All right. Next on the list is again, I've never been to this location ever. Oh no, wait, I lied. I have been to this location one time when I was super young, which is Raging Waters. And
Yes.
Raging Waters is a little bit of history behind Raging Waters. It's a water park. It's a theme park, right? Hi, Jack Wong. Hi, Gifmo. How are you guys? So Raging Waters is a water park here in Southern California. So if you're, it's winter now, but at least for the summer, when it's summertime, spring, summertime, fall, early fall, you're still able to enjoy some of the, the festivities at the Raging Waters. Have you ever been to this, Johnny?
Not recently. A
Mm.
while ago, I went there. Probably when they first built the wave machine,
Oh, yeah,
which you
yeah.
can simulate surfing. Yeah, you know what? It's terrible too because I'm one of my friends lives like right by there, practically down the street from there. But I haven't been recently. But
Hmm.
yeah, they added a lot of stuff, and I know they built some other locations all throughout the United States as
Oh,
well. There's one
other
in
Raging
Northern
Waters, you
California
mean?
now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's some back east, I think.
Hmm.
But like you mentioned, Annie, it's really meant for it's a
Yeah.
summertime place, and yeah, they have some amazing attractions there. You can ride. It's really great for the kids, especially in the summertime. Oh, they just want to get out. They want to go to the beach. It's a good alternative to hauling to the beach. Just go to Raging Waters. They can get out the water slides, and they can just have a great old time.
Yeah. Hi, Mama Sims. For some reason, Johnny, you're frozen. Let me figure out why you're frozen.
Okay.
Huh. I don't know if it's my. Let me refresh my browser real quick, you guys. Let me just refresh the browser, yo. For some reason, oh no, now he's perfectly fine. That was weird. That's so weird. Okay, so Raging Waters, like we said, is a he's moving again. Thanks. Now it's good. Thank you. Awesome. So it's a theme park, water theme park that we are famous here. Not famous, but it's one of the more popular water parks here in Southern California. So if you
It
ever go,
actually it has a cameo in the movie Bill and Ted's Adventure with Keanu Reeves and
see,
Alex Winters.
there you
They actually go there. They take Napoleon there in the movie, and that's the real park. So
That's the real part. I heard a comedian once say, in fact, this past weekend, I heard a comedian once say, yeah, if you just want to go to Hepatitis City, go to a water theme park. It made me laugh so hard. And he goes, yeah, because, kids don't ever pee in the pool or
oh,
kids don't ever.
never, never.
Never. Oh gosh. Or you can do like vacation where you find like a baby Ruth in the pool. Was it
Oh, it's from that movie. It's from that movie.
was
I
it
forget which
Vacation or
one.
National
Caddyshack.
Lampoon?
Caddyshack.
Caddyshack. There you go.
Caddyshack. Oh my
Oh
gosh.
Lord, just don't do the unthinkable and drop a baby Ruth bar or a candy bar in the pool because you'll vacate and the pool very, very quickly shut down. We don't
One
want
thing
that.
I do want to bring up as well, though, just like with any theme park, or any like water park like this, never pay what is at the door. You know what I mean? You can go online and get discounted tickets,
True.
at least a day ahead of time. But that's for any, whether you're going to be at a hotel, whether you're going to be at Disneyland, or you're going to be at Knott's Berry Farm or Raging Waters. Never just go there and buy tickets. It's a
Never.
ripoff. You can save so
Oh
much
my
money
goodness.
just by waiting one day and ordering it online. So
Yeah. Very
yeah.
cool. Good to know. All righty. Anybody have any questions regarding the theme park that's Raging Waters? And it's where is it? It's like
It's right off of the where the 210 and the 57 meet,
mm,
in Southern California. You just take the 57 just a little bit south of there. And the address is 111 Raging Waters Drive, San Dimas. This
so
is the
it's
park that really
east.
made San Dimas a
San
household name.
Dimas. Yeah. San
San
Dimas
Dimas.
would not be on the map without Raging Waters. Just kidding.
And Bill and Ted's
And Bill
Excellent
and Ted.
Adventure.
Yeah. So it's about what would you say, about maybe 20 miles maybe ish south or no east of Los Angeles.
Yeah,
I would
it's
think.
about 20 miles east of
Yeah.
of downtown LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So you can just take the 10 freeway. If you're in LA, take the 10 freeway, take it eastbound 20 miles until you hit the 57. Take the 57 north, and it's right off of there.
There you go. Coolio. All right, you guys. Next on the list is we're going to talk about the Santa Monica Pier. Santa Monica Pier is in, surprise, surprise, in the city of Santa Monica, which is north of Los Angeles. About, I want to say maybe 12 or 15 miles north of Los Angeles, maybe even longer. But you have seen pictures, and footage, I'm sure, in several movies with the Santa Monica Pier. The famous Santa Monica Pier has this big, huge, gigantic, what is that? The Ferris wheel?
It's got
What
a
is it?
Ferris wheel,
Yeah.
like a roller coaster,
Roller coaster.
a bunch of, it's like a little mini carnival kind of atmosphere.
Yeah. You were saying
And
that
it's
it's
been
like
renovated from time to time. It's been there forever. It's been there since the 70s, I think. In fact, Three's Company, the TV show, Three's Company would it would make a little cameo on the intro for the TV show.
Oh, that's
So
right.
it's been there
Come
forever,
knock
yeah.
on my door.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. So it's a
We've been-
small amusement park. It has concession stands. If you've been playing Roblox like Johnny and I have been playing, we've been building our theme parks, and he's built his theme park pretty similar to Santa Monica Pier. He's got this big roller coaster and Ferris wheel and whatnot. It has areas for viewing and for fishing, and it's located, like I said, in the heart of Santa Monica, Santa Monica Pier. It's 200 Santa Monica Pier in Santa Monica. It's open 24 hours, although I don't know if the attraction's open 24 hours. I think it's...
I don't think they are, but I know the restaurants. There's a lot of restaurants in there. I think the Bubba Gump Fish Company is there. A bunch of other restaurants too.
Yeah.
It's really nice. It's a really nice little getaway, especially if you're on the beach areas over there by Santa Monica. Obviously, Santa Monica has a lot of traffic. You know, it's
Yeah.
only like 10 miles north of LA, but to get there is like an hour probably, just because
Lots of
it's just
traffic.
California traffic. California traffic.
Yeah, so plan
But-
on traffic.
Oh yeah, plan on it.
Plan on it. And
But it's beautiful. It's really nice.
now, and it's beautiful because it's right on the beach, literally on the beach, because it's obviously it's on the pier. And then I think very recent, not so long ago, when we had all this hurricane weather. I don't know that Santa Monica Pier was as affected as some of the other LA beaches. I think they were damaged to some degree, but not like, where they had to like demolish it. So, but it's definitely, I've never been. I've lived here all my life, and I have never been to this place ever. I think it's just because it's too far north for me. It's like, gosh darn it. Because everybody, for some reason, we'll talk about this next, but for some reason, when everybody wants to go to Venice Beach when they come here, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But so when we say Santa Monica, they're like, "Oh, it's too far." Even for me, I'm like, "Oh God, it's too far."
It's
So
actually just north of Venice Beach. The Venice Beach Boardwalk is just south of this area. You can actually, if you were to go to the pier, you could hit Venice Beach. It's just south,
south,
maybe
okay,
a mile south. I mean,
south,
they're right next to each other. Yeah.
south of Venice.
No, Venice is south of Santa Monica.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that's why
Yeah.
we don't go because we
Like
go
if
to
you look on the
Venice.
map that you have there, right below it is Venice Beach right there.
Ah,
And the
okay.
boardwalk.
See, like I said, we go
And I
as
think
far
with one
as
of our Twitch streamers, Marknificent, he lives in Venice. He goes
that's
there all the time. He
right.
goes there all the time because he lives there.
That's
We had a
very
whole
true.
discussion when we met up with him. So
That's
it was really
right.
cool.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Santa Monica Pier, one of the family-friendly locations.
And
Definitely
open
worth.
24 hours a day. There you go.
There you go. So
Are they open? Yes, they are.
if you want to take somebody out on a date, someplace romantic,
Yes.
with a very picturesque picture opportunity, selfie galore opportunities, take them to Santa Monica Pier.
And it's worth mentioning once again, this this has a cameo in the game Grand Theft Auto 5. Vespucci Beach is basically Santa Monica Beach, and the pier on there is the pier. It's almost identical
Oh my
to the
goodness.
Santa Monica Pier. Yeah, I mean they basically building for building, it looks the same.
Boy, I'm glad you have all these references to the games. I would never guess. Seriously, I would never guess. Awesome. Anybody have any questions about the Santa Monica Pier? No? No. Okay, we are going to move on. And as we just mentioned, we are going to talk about next Venice Beach. Famous Venice Beach. Now, one thing about Venice Beach, you'll go there and you'll definitely be entertained because there's a bunch of street vendors, of course, and there's a bunch of street entertainers. If you've gone to, like, say, New York Times Square, similar, where they'll have these street entertainers and they'll entice you for some donation. Let's just say that. I'm just putting that really nicely. When I say entice you, they'll say, they'll egg you on to help support their entertainment efforts. But they won't rob you. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. So tell us a little bit more about your experience with Venice Beach, Johnny.
I had a friend of mine named Pam, and me and her would go there frequently.
Mhm.
It's something about Venice Beach. We just wanted to go on the boardwalk. You can just park there, just walk down the boardwalk. It's beautiful. Everyone there's friendly. There's Muscle Beach on the north part of the boardwalk. We'd always go to this restaurant called the Sidewalk Cafe, which is still there. It's just a great little environment. It's just everyone, eh, you know, everyone on roller skates and swimsuits, having a good time, getting some sun.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
just a really interesting atmosphere. I don't know what it is about there. And they have the canals, some of the houses on the canal. The canals is kind of like where their backyard is basically water. You know, you can
True.
actually have boats. You can have sail barges and boats and things like that. What I really love the most about it, though, there's restaurants, there's shops.
Yeah.
There's these little mom and pop shops where you could actually watch them make things out of glass and sell it to you, like whether it be heirlooms or jewelry. They'll make it right there, and you can watch them make it. It's really neat. The little mom and pop shops that are there.
Yeah.
This
Let's
is a
say
good
hello
environment.
to Sir Chris Swan. Hi, Sir Chris. And
Hey, Sir Chris, how
And
you
Evie,
doing?
Evie had a question. He says, just curious, with the news reporting so many homeless and the conditions around them, these pictures look pretty clean. What's the reality? That's okay. So when
Yeah, the re-
when I alluded to saying that, the street entertainers will entice you to, support their efforts, I'm talking about that as well. What would you say, Johnny?
You know what? When I would gone, I've never had any issues with. Like I know exactly what you mean because when I would go to Fisherman's Wharf in Northern California,
Mhm.
there was tons of street entertainers, and they would do shows and magic and really entertain people and get a
Right.
big crowd, and people would throw donations.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm aware of that. I never experienced too much of that on Venice. Venice is pretty rich area, just like Santa Monica. It's I know downtown LA has experienced a lot of homelessness,
Right.
and unfortunately, they're not helping the people, the city. They're not helping with shelters, and because of that, they're actually camping on the freeway shoulders,
Ah,
which is really dangerous because if you
yeah.
break down in your car, you have nowhere to go because there's homeless shelters. I mean, they have tents all across the shoulder on the freeway on ramps. It's
Mm-hmm.
really bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's just mismanaged the city, and I don't really think it's much of a that's much of a problem. That's a downtown LA problem for the
Yeah.
most part. But Venice Beach and Santa Monica are definitely richer neighborhoods. They don't really have that kind of problem,
I
as far
know
as I
that
know.
there are some homeless, areas. They're like little pocket areas, both on Venice and Santa Monica. Um, so I'm gonna paint a little bit of reality for some of you guys. Venice Beach is not my favorite. It's a beach. It's and by the beach, you either have it super super clean or super not clean. um, and I in my experience, my personal experience going to Venice Beach is that it's not my favorite. It can be a little, it can be. It's sometimes I go there and I worry a little bit about making sure that one, the kids when they were little, don't go so far away, that kind of stuff, or just be careful. One time they were approached by one of those street entertainers, and they were very very aggressive. Um, my kids weren't like super young; they were like in their adolescence, teens, preteens age, and one of the street entertainers, kept saying, uh, you know, let's see your pockets. And I'm like, oh my god, these are kids. And then I'm like, so then they're like, where's your mom and dad? I'm sure they got money. I was like, oh my gosh. So it can be kind of and you don't let one thing taint your vision and your idea of how all of Venice is. It was just that one experience that to me kind of made it a bad experience. And then we went back again when family visited from my ex-husband's time at family at the time was visiting from New York, and he wanted to take them to Venice Beach, and I said, okay, let's go to Venice Beach. We go to Venice Beach, and the kids were a little bit older then, and some of the same street entertainers were there, and some others, kind of set up camp next to them, and they were kind of vying for attention. They were uh, you know, let's see which one of us can scream the loudest. Hey, come check this out. And I mean, they're really acrobatic entertainers, but they were just as aggressive with our family that came from New York. So, again. I'm. This is just again my experience, my perception, my whatever, right? My opinions. But again, don't let that deter your interest level. So go. I think you should still go visit. Anybody that's here in California visiting, or who live in California who've never visited before, Venice Beach is, and any other beach, Santa Monica Pier, any of those beaches are one. I encourage people to visit them and just experience it for yourself, because one, you get fresh air, you're out in the open, it's a beautiful ocean, right, butt up against the pier and the boardwalk. It's still beautiful, but just like anywhere, just be on your guard. Don't let your guard down. Just be on your guard. And that's like I said, not just here but everywhere. So, sorry,
No,
I just
I have
had
to
to be.
agree with you too, Annie. I think you're right. I would consider Venice Beach. It's not a place for kids. It's really a nice area for adults to
Yeah,
check out the shops, and not just for the street performers, but the way people dress there.
true.
I mean,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
men and women are scantily dressed because it's the beach area, and they want people to look at them,
True.
and they want to get attention. A lot of these people, and it's yeah, I wouldn't take my boys there,
And we
definitely.
just showed a picture of
Not until they're
Muscle Beach.
older.
Yeah, true. We just
Yeah,
showed a picture of Muscle Beach. Muscle Beach is the very famous location
world
for
famous
a
Muscle
world
Beach.
famous location for Gold's Gym. There's a lot of people, a lot of athletes that will, or not athletes, but weightlifters, bodybuilders that will go out there, and they love the whole fresh air atmosphere. And yes, they will go out there and they will exercise. So it's as much of a it's very
It's
visual.
an adult.
It's
It's
not,
an adult
yeah.
area.
We're trying to be PC here, guys. PC PG.
It's not for kids.
It's
And
not
to
for
be
kids.
honest, all the times that I've ever been there, because I in my younger days I used to surf a lot.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
I would never surf there because it wasn't a big thing for me back then.
Uh-huh.
It was more prominent later on, but it's not really meant to be a beach that you go in the water. It's really
More
an
visual.
atmosphere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more of that's why they have the boardwalk.
Yeah. I like what you
And I think,
said. It's more
yeah,
atmospheric. Yeah, for sure.
it's a more atmospheric. It's not like Newport Beach where you want to go in the water, you want to go on the
Yeah.
rocks. It's like, no, this is to walk the boardwalk and to have a good time. Check out
Agreed.
the shops, to eat.
Yep.
It's really nice, but like any place, you're gonna have a certain element. So it's really meant for adults,
Yeah.
definitely.
Ag- Agreed. Absolutely 100% agreed. On the flip side, if you do want to take your children out to a beach, I would recommend, like, say, Newport or
Dana
Huntington
Point.
Beach, Dana Point, where
Oh
you can
yeah, Dana Point's
actually get
beautiful.
in the water and it's fantastic and,
And
it,
like once a year, me and my best friends, we all go to San Onofre because you can actually rent
oh,
campgrounds on the top, and then you go down the path and you go surfing,
very
and you
cool.
can actually camp on the beach up until nighttime. So you can actually
Nice.
set up your tents on the beach itself, so you can just go surf and just crash in your tent in in the shade.
Very cool.
Um,
See? Things
yeah,
I didn't
San
even know.
Onofre. It's right before San Diego County on the 5 freeway. That's San Onofre State
San
Beach.
Onofre. On the way down to San Diego ish,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. It's
Well, yeah. Right before you hit San Diego County, it's
mhm,
like South Orange County. It's called San Onofre State Beach.
very cool. All right. Any questions? Oh, let's see. Okay, yes. The news tries to make a story and so gives a certain picture. So thanks for the honest thoughts on it, guys. I've seen this place on TV shows, Sir Chris says. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, we're not here to bash any of these places. These are just locations that people ask us frequently, or
And
Johnny
we
most
wouldn't want
likely.
to
Mhm.
recommend something. You know what I mean?
Right.
For like kids. Oh, this is a great place for kids. No,
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
We're
But
telling
for
you it's
family
not.
members that want to see areas they don't know about that are worth checking out in California,
Yeah.
definitely this is one of them. I mean, it's world famous.
Yep.
This Venice Beach. Yes.
Agreed. Now, on the flip side, we're going to talk about another location. This is called Griffith Park. Or no, sorry, Griffith Observatory. This is definitely family friendly.
Oh yeah.
Um, Again, I have never been. I've lived in Southern California all my freaking life, and I have never been. So, Johnny, why don't you tell a little bit more about Griffith
Okay, my
Observatory?
first experience going there, I went there as a kid. My dad took me and my sister to the Griffith Observatory,
Hmm.
and the trek there is just as good as getting there because you pass by all the famous Hollywood celebrity houses. It's
Mm.
kind of a windy road up there
Yes,
because it's in the hills.
yes,
So you think of, really rich property, really rich movie stars. You got to go through that area to get to the Griffith Observatory. So it's
now,
actually
go ahead.
um it's because it's a planetarium, the telescopes and everything, it has to be at a high elevation. So that's
Hmm.
part of the reason why you got to go up the windy roads to get there.
Very true. It's really pretty. I've seen pictures and, I hear about it and I've seen it, in movies and whatnot, but I've never been. But Johnny mentioned it's a place where you can look through telescopes, you can explore
Mhm.
exhibits, see live shows in the Samuel Ocean Planetarium area, right? So,
Yeah.
mm,
So
now,
if you do go there, I mean, it's just southeast of the Hollywood sign, and it's about the same elevation. So you can actually use the telescopes there and be able to look at the whole beautiful area because you're actually overlooking a lot of Hollywood, LA.
yeah.
But if you definitely go up there, definitely go see one of the shows. The shows are amazing, and I remember the first time I went as a kid, and I was just blown away by it because you sit down in a circle, kind of like a movie theater, but you're facing upward. You're actually looking up because the
Wow.
show is straight up.
Wow.
And they did some renovation to, I think, the whole observatory a couple of years ago, maybe about 15 years ago.
Ooh.
So they actually updated it a lot. But I was blown away when I first went to the show there. And I
Yeah.
don't think it's very expensive. Maybe it's like $10, something
Really?
like that.
For the show or for
Well, it
entrance to the
might be a
whole
little
thing?
bit more now, but
Okay.
if I remember, it wasn't really really expensive to go to the show. And oh, if you have kids, oh, take them to that. They'll love it.
Oh my gosh. My kids
Yeah,
are probably going, how come you never take us
it's
there?
like you never take us anywhere.
You never take us anywhere. Again, it was just kind of out of my wheelhouse at the time. I'm thinking, oh, we can't go there. Oh, maybe next year. Oh, we can't go there. Oh, maybe next year. But it's
That's right,
really,
Sir
really pretty.
Chris. If you ever come to, we will be your guides to the
Yeah.
whole area of Hollywood, LA, Southern California. There's so
May-
many great places here.
Maybe I'll
Definitely.
want Johnny because he's a little bit more traveled than me.
But yeah, the Griffith Observatory. And if you watch movies like the movie Dragnet with Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd, they actually have a whole scene there at the Griffith Observatory. So it's been in a lot of movies. The movie Terminator, they film a whole scene there. The very first Terminator movie
Very
at the
cool.
Griffith Observatory. So it's been in movies. It's a famous place. It's been around there forever. And definitely, if you're in Hollywood, you want to check that out. It's really nice. It's really great,
Now,
great
with
place.
some of the recent fires too, I hate to keep bringing up fires, but wasn't the Griffith Observatory one of the structures that were threatened recently?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I heard, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the problem with these fires is that on a hillside, it's almost impossible to fight a fire when it's going up a hill.
yeah,
And then the brush, it has so much brush to just constantly grow. The fire just grows.
right. A lot of
So
vegetation all around that threatens the area, even though it's beautiful and picturesque during and here in California, it used to be there was like a season of like fire season, but now like year round it's fire season because we're basically in a desert and vegetation. Um,
yeah,
you
that's
know,
the thing with California. People forget.
yeah,
California is a desert, okay?
yeah,
Northern California, there's parts of there where it's more eco-friendly, so
yeah,
it's not so much a desert. But Southern California, all the way to San Diego, it's pretty much a desert.
true.
So, so we have desert climate. We have a lot of dry brush that they don't regulate, that they don't take
Yeah.
care of, and a fire could just get out of control so easily.
Isn't it
Um,
bizarre to think about like on one end of the spectrum we have nothing but beautiful beaches and just on the opposite end of the spectrum we have we have drought and desert.
Desert, Death
So
Valley.
bizarre.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's all there.
it's yeah.
And I mean, and we have the mountainside too, like
Yeah.
Big Bear, where you can, you know, experience snow at the same time. You can go to the beach. It's amazing.
It's so bizarre. It's almost like you can almost experience seasons, not true winters per se, but other seasons. Like we do have some falls in certain areas, like beautiful fall, weather and fall uh,
Oh, I think
changing
that's really what makes California
California.
so unique is
Mm,
that you can experience so many things from the peaks where there's snow all the way to where there's beaches in one state. I think
totally.
Oregon you can get some of that as well, but California definitely has that going for it.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. So that is Griffith Observatory located in Los Angeles, 2800 East Observatory Road. So, all right, let's see. The next one that we're going to talk about, we don't have a whole lot of pictures, but it's worthy of mentioning. It is called Medieval Times. In fact, I think its proper name is Medieval Times Dinner and a Tournament. And a little bit about that. Why don't you go ahead and talk about that, Johnny?
Okay, I hadn't been there until I was an adult. Um, I've heard of it. I've wanted to go there for a long time,
I've
but
been once. Yeah, maybe.
I've been there
Long time
one
ago.
time and I was blown away by it. It
Yeah.
was just incredible because it's unique. If you're in Brenna Park or if you go to Knott's Berry Farm,
Farm.
I think it's just north of Knott's Berry Farm on the same street, Beach Boulevard.
Yeah. Just
So definitely check it out. Definitely try to go there if you had.
And a little bit of what it is jousting, horsemanship, and falconry, plus a four-course utensil-free
And there's
meal.
no utensils. Okay, the menu is the napkin. So you look at your napkin, you're like, I want this dinner, and then there's no straws, there's no utensils. You use your hands like in the
Oh,
medieval times,
gosh.
and it's and when you like I mentioned before, never pay full price. Get your tickets before you go. Okay, you can save so much money. Okay.
Oh, wow. See?
But
Tricks
when
of the
you go
trade.
in, you get assigned a certain table area and you have a knight that you cheer for. That's your knight. And when they come on to battle, you cheer them on and you cheer and you boo the other knights.
Oh, so based
Because,
on where you're sitting, you cheer for that knight?
yeah, exactly. So if you have the green knight, you're in the green section. Kind of like in the picture there that we're looking at. See how the people, there's like a blue or a
Yeah,
green.
yeah.
So they're in the section for the green knight. And then
Mm.
there's a section for the yellow knight, the white knight, the red knight, the blue knight. So you kind of get into the whole atmosphere with the other people that you're sitting next to. That your
Huh.
team against their team.
Interesting.
So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It is not cheap. I don't think it's
Yeah, it's pretty
probably
pricey.
$30 to $40 a ticket. But
Um,
you get food, and it's an experience worth having.
Very cool. Now, Sir Chris, thanks for the auto or for the host. I really appreciate it. And he said I was wielding an original sword from like 1367. Oh, you did? Was it heavy? I'm curious to know because it seems like they're not only on on horses, but they're actually. I don't think they're jousting with real weapons, right? Kind of heavy. Yeah, I figured. Um, but I assume that what their weapons of choice or weaponry is pretty heavy, even though it is fake, because you have to be on your horses and still maneuver your horse plus joust and compete, quote unquote. I mean, it's
Yeah,
definitely entertainment, right? I get
it's
it, but
entertainment. Yeah,
yeah,
they're not real
right,
per se weapons.
right,
Because it's for safety reasons as well.
sure,
But they put on a really good show. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and they're highly skilled. They're not. It's not a bunch of actors who's never picked up a sword. They have down. It's almost like a play. You're watching a
mm,
live play of these people going at it. And it's a great environment. The
yeah,
food isn't that great, obviously, because
yeah.
there's no utensils. Okay,
Well, I
and
had
if
friends. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, if you ever seen the movie The Cable Guy, with Jim Carrey and Matthew Broderick, they film a whole section of the movie in medieval times because no one's ever
Oh,
filmed there, and
what
it's fun.
what movie?
The Cable Guy.
The
It's
Cable
called The
Guy.
Cable Guy.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Now, Evie, Evie says cancels my tickets if there's no real limbs falling off.
So violent.
Modern soldiers complain on heavy backpacks. Yeah, seriously. Well, okay, I know I've had friends, but the armors were much heavier, and during hot days they were cooking you. Oh, I'm sure. I've had actor friends that I've done theater with that actually worked at medieval times, and they were not the performers that were on horses and jousting with with full weapons or not, but these were people that were on some sort of stage. You can't see it here, but I believe that there is a stage, and they actually don't. Am I correct? They also interact with the audience. They go through the audience, and they have like stories like they're chasing wenches and whatnot. And one of the gals that I was friends with, one of the gals that's my friend that was in the show was one of the wenches that would run throughout the show, and she would, she'd have dialogue, and they would be talking about, running from, whomever. And then I had another friend who played a king, if I'm not mistaken. Reorders my ticket, wenches. Evie, you're so funny. So there's different types of entertainment. So you don't, of course, the highlight is the jousting and of course the utensil free meal. It's a whole entertainment experience. But you also get entertained by actors throughout the whole venue, if I'm not mistaken. And they actually
Yeah,
during
I think
during
even
intermissions.
the people serving you, they're in character.
There you go.
And
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
there's a whole section where it's the king and queen and all the relatives,
All the
and
court
then the knights will come
and
in and like salute them, and there's a whole, you can't go there, obviously. That's
Yeah.
they're part of the show, but they play along.
Yeah. That's so cool. Again, I only went one time when I was a kid. When I think it was even through, if I'm not mistaken, it was through like a field trip. So maybe my like junior high days,
Well, if
when
you
we
have kids, they'll be blown away by this. This is
yeah.
just exactly, especially boys. Oh man, they'll just be like, "I want a sword. I want a shield." It's yeah. I was blown away as an adult, so
Yeah.
you can imagine how a kid would react.
And this place opens. It's in the city of Buena Park in
Yeah,
off of Beach Boulevard 7662 Beach Boulevard in the city of Buena Park, and they open at 10 a.m. So I think there's only like a limited window, like 10 to 6. So they're not open like all day,
and
all
they
night.
sell out, so
Yeah,
you can't just go there and be like, I want a ticket.
true.
You want to order at least a couple days ahead of time because they will sell out. They don't
Yeah,
oversell tickets because they only have so many spaces, like a restaurant.
right.
Consider it a restaurant. It really is. That's the
There you
but
go. Very
it's like
cool. Well, you guys, I see all the enthusiasm about this Sir Chris says, but the armors. Oh, I said that the armors were much heavier, and during hot days they were cooking. Yeah, uh, they definitely do. I mean, they don't dress in full armor, but the armor that they do wear, the costumes that they do wear, they try to authenticate them as. I know a friend that actually did costuming for medieval times, so I know that all the things that she would talk about and the authenticity of the costumes were as close as they could to get to that era, to that time period. So the wardrobe and the fabrics were definitely very, very true to form and very heavy. So not just the armor, but even the clothing, even the fabric itself are very, very um, weighted, as most of them were at the time. Okay, moving on. We are going to talk next about. We have limited pictures for this, but one thing we want to mention as well is the Aquarium of the Pacific, located in the city of Long Beach. Um, it's a public aquarium on a 5-acre site on Rainbow Harbor in the city of Long Beach. Have you ever been to this one, Johnny?
I've been to it once, a long time ago.
I've not
My
been
kids went to it
at it.
recently. Actually, they had a field trip
Oh.
there,
Mm,
so they got to go to it maybe about a year ago,
mhm.
and they loved it. They thought it was.
I've never been to it, but I've been outside of it, if that makes any sense. Because there's like a whole, kind of
Oh yeah, it's huge.
it's very atmospheric. Also, there's also kinds of things happening around the perimeter of the aquarium. And
Hmm.
Johnny had mentioned earlier, we were talking earlier about this, about that it's also located close to the Queen Mary. So all of this area by the harbor in Long Beach is a happening place. So not just the aquarium, you've got you got the pier, you've got Queen Mary, you've got it's like a whole. It's kind of like LA Live if you think of it. It's like Long Beach Live. So it's got this whole atmospheric area with a bunch of restaurants and live entertainment all up and down, kind of in that same area. I think a lot of it is mostly walking distance, but you do think some places you do maybe have to just you know take a quick Uber drive over to the couple blocks down, and you'll hit other bars and whatnot. But um, so a little bit about what the Aquarium of the Pacific is they show I based on what it sounds like, it sounds like they just have sea life, right?
Hmm.
Underwater sea life depicted in this huge, basically a huge aquarium where you yourself get to walk down, and you're kind of immersed in that life and that sea life, underwater sea life, because you see everything. I know friends that have gone and have said, you feel like you're there underwater with these sea animals. Um, but again, I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever been.
It's kind of like it's really beautiful. It's a huge area. They have an area for eating. They have for historical, showing the size of what a real whale would look like in proportion to you.
Yeah.
But what's immersive about it is just like being inside an aquarium. You're like be able to not have to go in the water. You're able to see the surrounding areas, sharks, all different types of fish surrounding you. So it's like being immersed in a huge aquarium
Yeah.
where you don't, you're kind of surrounded by it. And there's
Yeah.
really nice areas where it's just huge glass panels uh, to see everything that's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. So as the picture depicts here, you are kind of in like this tunnel, um,
Yeah.
with just uh, fiberglass glass everywhere that allows you to kind of see, kind of like being at the zoo, but only being at the water zoo.
But it's real.
Yeah, but it's real. Yeah, for
But it's
sure.
real.
But
Yeah, they
it's
have these tunnels that take you to different parts of the aquarium, deeper and farther down, so you can see more different type of plant life that
mhm,
naturally grows there, and the different types of fish, the ecosystems. It's really really neat.
really nice. This opens at 9 o'clock. It's at 100 Aquarium Way, Long Beach, in the city of Long Beach. So they're not open all day either. It's not like an all day thing. I think they have, their hours are like 9 to 6 or something like that. So definitely, and I don't think the price is too bad, but it's, you know, um, plan ahead because they can get pricey. Can you find coupons and such for this as well online?
Yeah, this just like everything else.
Mm,
You want to get everything online
mm.
to get a better deal for, especially if you have a
A
more than one
family,
person going. Yeah,
yeah, for
you
sure.
definitely want to do that ahead of time. But yeah, this is probably a huge popular spot there for Long Beach.
Yeah,
I think it's just west of the Queen Mary as well. It's right next to Queen Mary, and
yeah,
that's another a really huge tourist attraction for Long Beach.
yeah,
And yeah, if you like fish and want to experience that, this is definitely a good place. Take the kids, take the family; they'll get a kick out of it. Who doesn't love
yeah. It's fun.
being immersed in an aquarium? That's
And
just
it
amazing.
seems very tranquil, right? Because it's all, just soothing. I mean, outside of maybe seeing a shark, but,
Yeah, and I think
but
they
yes.
even do little. I haven't been there in a while, but when I was there, they would do little like teach you about the different ecosystems and about the plant life and about the fish and the area. So you get like a little history lesson
Yeah,
on everything having to do with the ocean. It's pretty cool.
yeah, true. Grab some bait and my fishing pole and heads there, Evie says. Baby shark, do, 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 do.
I don't know if you can fish there. I know you can at the pier,
Yeah,
at the
you
Santa
can.
Monica
You
Pier.
can definitely. Oh, you can also fish in some areas at Long Beach, but not directly off the pier. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think you can fish directly off the pier at Long Beach. But Long Beach, the pier it's in and of itself is not sorry is not in the same style as say Santa Monica. It's not like it doesn't have this amusement theme kind of thing. Does have a little, boardwalk. There's a merry-go-round at the Long Beach Pier. There's a couple, nice restaurants right on the pier itself that have beautiful nighttime and daytime views. Really, really pretty. And then really nice souvenir shop in the Long Beach Pier, plus a really good, famous ice cream shop. So I think they make their soft serve ice creams directly on the pier. So some things to think about if you're considering going to the aquarium. All right. So moving on. Now we're going to talk about. Here we go. This one is famous. Everybody knows Disneyland. Everybody wants to visit Disneyland. Not everybody can afford Disneyland because it's like, oh my gosh. So some of the pictures here are outdated. Of course, the Disney that we know is in the city of Los Angeles, Anaheim. It's a family-friendly theme park and amusement park. It's home of Mickey Mouse and Friends, of course, and the world-famous Walt Disney was the mastermind behind Disneyland. Right next to Disneyland is Downtown Disney. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. But the Disneyland, like all other theme parks, have been expanding. As we know, they have several parks or lands they call them. Tomorrowland. They have Frontierland. Do you remember what else? Wait, Tomorrowland, Frontierland. They have
Adventureland, New
um,
Orleans Square,
New Orleans Square. They even have a
and
new one called the
Zippity Doodah Square.
they
I forget what that's called.
they
But
have Star Wars Land.
Tomorrowland, yeah,
Yeah.
Tomorrowland.
Oh yeah,
And the new one
Tomorrowland.
is called Frontier's Edge, right? The Star Wars one.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it's
Frontier's
yeah,
Edge.
for sure. So some of the things that I can tell you a little bit about what I know about
Galaxy's
Disney.
Edge. I'm sorry, Galaxy's Edge. Yeah, my
Now
bad.
I used to work at Disney as a seasonal worker, as a Christmas caroler. So for 10 years I worked there, and there was a lot of underground tunnels that we had to get through from location to location, because you know when you're working for Disney, you're in full costume. When you're in full costume, you're on stage. That's why they're called cast members. Their employees are called cast members, because when you're on the clock, you are on the clock. You are on stage. You are in full costumes. So you know you have to be in character and whatnot. So to be able to get from one place to another without being bombarded by you know patrons and children. We had to get to one location to the other, and quickly we'd go underground. So sometimes we'd have to go underground in full costumes and run to our locations. And then oftentimes when we were on break, you have to take off all your costumes. You'd never be allowed to go on to the set, so to speak, in full costume if you were not working. So you'd have to be out of costume to be able to get to location to location. And then one of the things that I enjoyed about Disney was, again, this is something for everyone, from old and new and whatnot, and different types of characters that speak to you, that speak to your genre. From children, Mickey Mouse, of course, all the beloved characters, and then to adults, the princesses and princes, and even the villain characters. It's just beautiful. And then all the lands are expanding, as we mentioned. Sometimes they're renovating, so sometimes the rides are closed for renovations or whatnot. There's a picture here of Main Street where they show, I think it's called the firehouse, the fire station. The fire station, there's an apartment right above the fire station. If you're looking at the fire station, directly to the left was the apartment where Walt Disney himself stayed. And there's a story that I wanted to share with you. I don't mean to monopolize this segment, but there's a story about I think he was the flag wrangler, they called him, I think, where he would lower the flag, fold it every single night. He would raise it every single morning. But he had never in his lifetime met Walt Disney himself. As you know, when Disneyland opened, they were only open for a short amount of years before Walt himself passed. But as a tribute, this flag wrangler would lower the flag, fold it, and raise it every morning and whatnot. But as he would lower it every single night and fold it, and they would have military play, a round of I don't even know what the names of the songs were, but they would play a round of bugle, songs around the flag as they were lowering it. And as they would fold the flags, every single night the flag wrangler would face directly at the apartment where Walt Disney stayed, and he would salute him, and every night he would say, good night, or Mr. Disney. Never ever met him, but for many, many years, I think he's worked there for like 40 something years ish, right? Every single day, every single night, never missed. Always saluted Mr. Disney at the end of the night. And I think that was a very touching, very really cool story. And there's a ton of those stories all over the park. And if you ever go, it benefits you to have several days visiting Disneyland because you cannot ever cover it in one day, ever. And I would also recommend hiring a tour guide because the tour guide will take you around throughout some of the ins and outs of Disneyland, some places that regular patrons don't normally get to see, and you'll hear all these awesome stories like I just shared with you with the flag handler or wrangler. So things like that, I would definitely recommend Disneyland if you can afford it. It's definitely you got to tap into your savings for sure, but it's definitely worth the trip to Disneyland and finding out all these little nuances about the park and learning all the history behind it. Sorry, Johnny.
No, it's okay.
What can you share? What your experience with Disneyland?
I've never worked there. One of my best friends worked there. So I got to see behind the scenes at the Harbor House. He wasn't supposed to take me back there, but I went back there anyways. And
Ooh,
as a
indeed.
kid, actually, when I was in junior high, I was in band. I played trumpet. And our band director had an agreement with Disneyland that we would appear once a year. So we actually got to go behind the scenes as well. Like it's a small world. They have a little gate that opens,
Yeah,
and then our marching band would march out and go all the way down the whole park to Main Street to where
right,
the firehouse is, and then we enter there through
right.
that gate, and then we get to spend the whole day. This is during the school day, by the way.
Yeah,
We get to spend the whole day at the park doing whatever we
yeah,
wanted. So it was a great treat for this is in junior high, I think.
yeah. I
So we
mean,
got to do that every year. That was really
there's so
cool.
many cool things about Disneyland that they're definitely very community oriented because as Johnny mentioned, they invite bands like high school bands, also
Hmm.
college bands. They invite bands to come on to and do little parades and whatnot. They also close down the parks during the holidays. Certain companies will have the
Do
opportunity.
special events,
Yeah,
yeah, for different
special
groups.
events.
Yeah.
And then Coast 103, the radio station, will have their, night at Disneyland. They'll close down the whole park, and all their listeners will come to, that win or have the opportunity to come to see Disneyland during when that little block of time when they close down the park and they have it just for the special events. And they also have their parades are, it's not a normal parade. It's not like, the normal parades people go down and they wave. I mean, they literally, this is a show. I mean, their parades are just as entertaining as their stage shows. It's just super cool. Things that, they're so, the great thing about Disney is they're so entertaining. If all the attention to detail that you can think of, from the fireworks show to the parades to, even being like one of the vendors, ice cream vendors, they all the attention to detail that they are so inclined to, if you go to a certain land like Frontierland, or if you go to the train that takes you all the way around, all the cast members are dressed to the nine, specific to that era, specific to that theme, whatever it is. If you're a conductor, you got the conductor hat, things like that. I mean, it's so it's just things like that. You just love because they pay 100% attention to detail, and that's something I truly, truly, truly love about Disneyland. I mean, I love everything about Disneyland, but I'm pretty biased when it comes to that. So, and then next door to Disney is this whole gamut of stuff, which is what we call downtown Disney, or what they call downtown Disney. They have two, not more than two. They have like three hotels. They have the California Grand Hotel. They have the Disneyland hotel, the regular hotel. They have Paradise Pier, and then a whole nother, city basically of just shops and eateries. And we went to, what place did we go to for the meetup? We went to
It
Tr-
was like
Trader Sam's. Yeah,
Trader Sam's Cantina, something like that.
yeah, in
Yeah.
downtown
I'd
Disney.
never been there. So it's actually right next to the California Grand Hotel.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess
And they
west
have
of
their
it.
own theater. They have the MC Theater. They have uh what is it? What's that forest? Oh my gosh, I'm blanking all of a sudden. They had ESPN Zone. I don't know if they do. They still have ESPN Zone? I don't
I
know if
don't know.
they
Well,
do.
Disney bought ESPN, so
Okay.
once they bought them, they created that little area. I think it's. I'm sure it's still there. I
Oh,
haven't been to downtown Disney until that meetup. Actually, I went
oh.
there. I had went there before, but kind of when it was still new, where they
Hmm.
had to build a bear shop,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, that was when it was fairly new. Annie, have you ever been to the California Adventure theme park, the one
I
right across?
have, yes. And speaking of which, California Adventure, we totally forgot to mention that. Yes,
Yeah.
California Adventure theme park is super cool too. It's another park. It's an extension of the Disneyland park. So there, when you hear people say hotels are expensive, yes, they are, Sir Chris. When you hear people talk about Disneyland, that's the main land, right?
Theme
The
park.
main theme park. And then do you remember, Johnny, when when only Disneyland was existing, and it was
Yeah.
nothing but this gigantic,
Parking
huge
lot.
parking lot?
Parking
Yes.
lot. Yeah.
It was unbelievable. Now that they've got like a structure that fits like thousands and thousands of cars. But before that, they had nothing but just parking lot. Well, they uprooted that parking lot and built a brand new theme park on it called Disney California Adventure. And the
Hmm.
idea is to bring to those little snippets of you know um, must visit locations in this area. So they have they used to have, they don't anymore. They used to have the Golden Gate Bridge, right? They have the Hollywood backlot, what they call the Hollywood backlot. So it's like a replica of the studios, the Hollywood studios. They have this place called the Hyperion Theater where um, Aladdin was showcased, or they performed Aladdin there for many years before they did away with it, and now Frozen's there. Hi, Magnificent TV. We're just talking about you. We were just talking about you about
Hey.
being in Venice. We did this whole thing on
Yeah, we
Venice
did a
Beach.
whole thing on the Venice Boardwalk.
Yes.
Must see location in California, Southern
Yeah.
California.
So we're talking about Disneyland and things about Disney California, downtown Disney, and that kind of stuff. So things, just some really cool things about Disney California. But like I said, they have a small replicas of certain cities that they want you to visit. Say like in Disney California, Magnificent. Sorry, Magnificent TV. What's your experience with Disneyland and Disney California? Can you share some of those experiences with us? If you can. Um, and Johnny, what about your experience with Disney California Adventure?
To be honest, I've never been to DCA,
What?
Disney California Adventure. I've never been there.
Same with
I've been to
Magnificent.
Disneyland so many times. I've been to downtown Disney, but I've never been to the theme park. My kids have been there a couple
Hmm.
times, but they went without me. So,
Wow,
you know,
it's you should go. I mean, it's again, if you go to Disneyland, you should probably buy like a park hopper, what they call a park hopper, so which allows you to go to that allows you to go to Disneyland plus Disney California Adventure, and then maybe even spend a few more days, so that you could go cover everything else like downtown Disney and whatnot. But I've been to Disney World a lot, just not to Disneyland. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit more about Disney California Adventure. So you've seen it in pictures and photos, and maybe in some movies where you see the big roller coaster with Mickey's face on it, right? So that used to be, way back at the time, used to be called California Screamin'. Okay, it's not called that anymore. Well, and it has this dip, and it turns revolution, right, and all these wonderful. Let me just tell you, every time I go on there, I get super sick that all I want to do is go home. I was like, oh, I can't take this anymore. I mean, I'm that sensitive to motion sickness, really, really bad. But they've since changed the name from from California Screamin' to now the Incredicoaster. So they named it after the Incredibles because, they're fast, they're furious, and, whatnot. And they take you on this wild, goose chase, basically. So, and it's still the same roller coaster, but a different name. Now it's called the Incredicoaster. Now, the thing about the Incredicoaster, just like at that entire area, it's on a boardwalk. So it mimics Santa Monica. We were just talking about Santa Monica. It mimics the Santa Monica boardwalk because it has this big Ferris wheel and whatnot. But now they've made use of this water area, this pond, so to speak, all around that surrounds the boardwalk, that surrounds the Incredicoaster now. And now they've made it into this big thing called World of Color. Now, if you've been on the Disneyland side, Disneyland has this thing called Fantasmic, which is a water show. And by that, it's just they spew water and they have a projector with animation that they show directly on the water as they're spewing it upwards. So the water acts like it's a screen. They do the same thing on the World of Colors on the Disney California side, plus a bunch of other stuff. And it's true as it says, it's World of Color. And I didn't have a picture to show you guys here, but it's just a ton of vibrant, beautiful water laser. And it's just amazing. So some things that you definitely want to look into when you come visit Disney California side is, stay for the World of Color show. They close at, I think, the last thing they show is the World of Color, and then they close the park down. So everybody typically goes from the California side. When they close that, they walk over to the Disneyland side and spend the remaining hours at Disneyland, and that's where they'll go watch the fireworks. And then the Fantasmic. Now, the thing about the fireworks show, it's not just a regular fireworks show where you and I are accustomed to seeing, a bunch of fireworks just, spewed in the air. Their fireworks show is choreographed. Believe it or not, it's choreographed to music. And I know a pyrotechnic who actually does that for Disneyland. Plus, he does pyrotechnics for not only Disneyland, but also for the Rose Bowl when they do their whole, 4th of July thing. But and he's also a musician. Go figure that. Interesting that he would be able to marry both being a musician with pyrotechnics, and he happened to do that with Disneyland's fireworks. I think they were the first to do it, and then the Rose Bowl fireworks. But it's all choreographed. It's choreographed fireworks show to music, themed music. So whatever the theme is, right, for that night, the fireworks show is synchronized. And times so that the big blasts will happen during climactic parts of the music, and it's all theme music, and they play theme music throughout the whole fireworks show. So snippets of, like, say, Little Mermaid, snippets from Peter Pan, things like that. So again, because Disneyland is the king of entertainment, why not make their fireworks as entertaining, right? And their World of Color water show. So anyways, that's just my experiences. And because I've worked there for many, 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 many years, these are the things that I know that I've come to know and come to learn just by being a contractor with them. So definitely someplace to visit. Everybody always wants to go to Disneyland, and why wouldn't they? It's just super expensive. That's the only thing.
Yeah. I have to agree, though. I think when it comes to theme parks, Southern California, Disneyland is what every theme park aspires to be.
Yeah.
When it comes to their shows, their rides, the attention to detail, the sound. I mean, everywhere in the park, you could watch the fireworks show. Doesn't matter where you are in the park, you can hear the music. Yep. They have speakers everywhere. Yep. They have machines to make the park smell really good, to entice you to eat. It's just it's just an unbelievable entertainment zone,
Yeah.
unlike any other.
Yeah.
And I've been to a lot of theme parks, but yeah, I think Disneyland definitely is what every other theme park aspires to be like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, when Disneyland closes, downtown Disney stays open for another 2 hours. So, it's kind of really neat how they factor that in. So Disney California closes first, right? Like say 10, and then the remaining hours, open hours, are spent at Disneyland. Once Disneyland closes, then everybody kind of trickles over into downtown Disney. So, and they're open till like 2. So, definitely, something. Make a week of it if you can. If you can afford it, make at least take 2-3 days if you can to visit Disneyland. It's definitely something that I would recommend you do when you do decide to come out to Disneyland. Yay. All right. Sorry, didn't mean to monopolize that conversation.
Yeah.
It's just, super, super. I'm pretty passionate when it comes to Disneyland. So
We're a little biased here.
we're a little
But
bit.
it's okay. It's
Just
okay.
tiny bit. Okay, moving on. And just west of Disneyland is Knott's Berry Farm. Want to talk about Knott's Berry Farm? Knott's Berry Farm? Johnny?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, Knott's Berry Farm. A lot of people don't know this, but if you walk around Knott's Berry Farm, you'll see all these signs, and it talks about this tree is this type of tree, or this type of wheelbarrow was used in the 1800s, blah blah blah. Because it actually, the park gets money from the state as an educational resource theme park.
Interesting.
Something that cannot be claimed by Disneyland or a lot of other theme parks like Six Flags. They actually get money as an educational center for a theme park. So I think that's really interesting.
There's a lot of history too, right, behind Knott's Berry Farm.
Yeah, believe it or not, the Knott's Berry Farm, it all started with Mrs. Knott's Chicken restaurant. And the
Really?
lines
Okay.
would get so huge for this restaurant, which is still there. It is
Yeah.
still there. It's
Yes.
over where the gift shops are.
Mm-hmm.
The lines would get so long that they started building the ghost town. And it was free admission. So the
Yeah.
whole ghost town that's at Knott's Berry Farm, that was built in a way for a distraction, or just like a theme to have while people waited for the reservations to get met for the restaurant.
Oh.
And as time went on and on, they started adding more parts to they added that little mine cart, the little train ride with the mining,
Yes. Uh-huh.
and they added the which would be known as the log ride. And then
Yes.
after that point, they actually decided to, you know what, let's build more rides, and then we'll just separate it and make it an admission theme park. So
Oh,
it was
wow.
really an afterthought. The whole theme park was an afterthought. It was always about the restaurant, Mrs. Knott's Chicken Restaurant.
Sir Chris says, as always, you make me hungry at night. Really, I
But you
know.
know what? I'll be honest. I had the chicken at the restaurant. It's nothing to write home about. This is my opinion. Okay, maybe it was a bad day because it's
Yo.
supposed to be this world famous chicken, not Mrs. Knott's recipe. Blah blah blah. I thought it was horrible. But maybe it
Oh my
wasn't just
goodness.
me. Maybe it was a bad day or off day or whatever. I didn't enjoy it.
Don't let that deter you. Go still
But
try it.
definitely try it out. I didn't even know about that until later on.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of history. My ex-wife worked at Knott's Berry Farm. Her brother worked at Knott's Berry Farm. So like they have a very close bond with Knott's Berry Farm
Hmm.
for the most part. I'm more of a Disneyland person,
Yeah.
but Knott's Berry Farm is really good. It's a lot more affordable, especially now.
Now, the
It's
one
worth
thing,
checking out.
yeah, for sure. The one thing about Disney, or sorry, Knott's Berry Farm, first of all, like Johnny said, it's definitely based on history, right? So for sure with Mrs. Knott's, I think it's Marilyn Knott's. With her famous chicken, but there's also the Knott's Berry Farm famous jelly and jams. You'll see that
Right.
all over. They're sold in stores as well. So there's the stores and the stores and the one restaurant or several restaurants now along the ghost town are definitely popular attractions, and it's also become Knott's Berry Farm has also become the home of, as of late, Snoopy and Charlie Brown and all his friends. So all the whole Peanuts gang, basically. So, which is really interesting. And then there's a picture here of some really scary looking clowns. And the reason is because of Not Scary Farm. They changed it. Every season or holiday, quote unquote, they change it to Not Scary Farm, Not Merry Farm. I don't know about the other ones, but Not Scary Farm is they turn the entire area, usually around 8 o'clock at night. It turns into this Halloween.
I think 7.
Yeah, okay,
7
maybe
to
even
2,
earlier.
yeah.
7 or maybe even earlier now, 6 for all we know.
And I think they start in late September, from
Yeah.
late September 20th to Halloween night,
To
basically.
Halloween night, yeah, and they turn it into this Halloween-ish theme park, and hence
They
the
change
name.
all the rides. They change
Not
the names of
Scary
the
Farm, yeah.
rides.
Yes.
Everyone's in costumes, it's scaring you.
Yeah.
It's wow. It's neat.
It's a thing. Let me tell you, in my day when I used to go to Not Scary Farm, those clowns and ghosts really made it a thing to come out and scare you. And sometimes they scare you the bejeebies out of you. And now they're not allowed to touch you. They're not allowed to, to rough you up like they used to. Because my day when I went, oh my God, they used to come out and they would just like, you'd feel hands in the weirdest places. I'm like, oh my God, they'd scare you, and they would make it such a thing to scare the heck out of you. So that's Not Scary Farm. And like Johnny says, that it goes from like September, mid-September, maybe even earlier for all we know, mid-September, all the way to the end of Halloween. And it's definitely, me personally, I think it's one of the better Halloween themed parks around here in Southern California.
I think they're the ones that started that whole trend of changing for the season.
Yeah. I mean,
And-
they beat Disney.
And oh yeah, when I first went to Not Scary Farm, they were very aggressive. It was something. Yeah, I mean, they would. I think one of them tried to pull me out of the log ride, where I was on the ride.
See?
They really scared you.
Yes.
And now they're more or less about shock you with sound effects now, not so much grabbing you or which I understand. I understand that, but it kind of takes away a little bit from it.
I mean, they're still scary. People, my kids, they're older. They're in their 20s. My kids went not too long ago. Like, I don't know if they went this year, but last year for sure they went, and they still tell me, oh my God, I hate going. I'm like, why? Why do you go?
I went about 5 times last year. My kids have a yearly pass, pass there.
Uh-huh.
So they wanted to go like every month. So I went every month at some point. And it's pretty cool because they have these things where you can get not only admission for the year, but you can get like food pass for the year and drink pass. And we have the drink pass for the kids. So like you can get a drink of whatever they want, punch or soda or whatever, all day long at the park.
Wow.
Which really helps because, kids, they always want to drink, right? And they're always dehydrated and they're always running around.
Thirsty.
And yeah, my kids now go on the roller coasters. They're perfectly fine with it. My kid made me get on that new one. What was it called? Oh my gosh, I forget what it's called.
Oh.
It's the brand new roller coaster they did, and I went on it with them. Oh my gosh.
Let me see if I can.
Really my
pull it up
age.
for you.
Hang time.
That's
Oh
what it
my
is,
gosh.
Hang time. Yes. But
I don't know how he talked me into that. He's just laughing at me the whole time.
This place I would never fare well here. I'd be on one ride and I'll want to go home because I'm super sensitive to motion sickness. Now, let me tell you though, one thing about Knott's Berry Farm, it's not as huge and it doesn't take up a lot of acreage like say Disneyland does. But one thing definitely for sure about Knott's Berry Farm, they know how to build upward. Let me just tell you, they're like New York City. They built upward. All their roller coasters are pretty high. Yeah, and they make good use of their space. Let me tell you, this famous one here with the K at the top, the tower. That's a very famous. It's been around since when I was a kid, and that's like it's like an observatory. That's like a little restaurant that turns. That big thing that K.
Yeah.
There's a little saucer underneath it that actually has windows and you can actually sit in it. I don't think you can order food
They used to
anymore.
have parachutes on that, didn't they? A long time ago. I
Oh,
remember being on the
yeah.
parachute on the
Maybe.
outside of that spinning room thing.
Yeah.
They had parachute ride, and that scared the hell out of me. I went on it with my aunt, and
Oh my
man,
God.
oh my gosh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, they make good use of their space for sure. But, and you know, yes, it is kid friendly, but as of late, I think it's been kind of like teenagers on up because some of the rides are like really fast. I mean,
Oh yeah.
super fast. Where I think the height requirement also is definitely changed or different than say like Disneyland. I think their height requirement is you need to be even taller, which means you need to be even older. you know,
But I mean, if you do have kids, there's a whole area there called Camp Snoopy,
Very true. Yeah.
and then they have these little they do a rating, like a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4, and it tells you how much turbulence is on the ride.
Oh,
So if
I
it's a 1 or
didn't
2,
know
you know
that.
that your 5-year-old, 6-year-old will be able to handle it. If
Yeah.
it's a 3 or 4, then you might want to go on it with them or avoid it. Um,
Oh, see, some things I
yeah.
didn't know.
So
Cool.
but when you get to the adult ones, everything's a 5.
I can only go on one rides. Number one.
Number one,
Of
maybe a number
life.
2.
Maybe a number two. And then close by, right next door to Knott's Berry Farm is Soak City. So they actually have its own theme
Yeah.
water park. So Raging Waters is no longer the daddy of all. Well, it still is the daddy of all theme park water parks. But Soak City is a close second for sure, and it's maybe a little tamer. But it still has the entertainment and wow factor about it. So if you're into water theme parks during the summer, especially, they're only open mostly during the summer and maybe early autumn or early fall.
I want to tell you a story really fast about Knott's Berry Farm. I went with my grandparents and my parents and my sister.
Okay.
So back then, they used to have a train ride. You get on the train goes, and then a bandit comes on board the train with this covering his face
Uh
and with a
huh.
gun. And I remember because he threatened to take my grandma hostage, and my grandpa's just like, take her, go ahead.
What did you do? Did
Take
you
her.
like? Were
The
you
guy
like?
didn't know what to say, right? The bandit didn't know what to say. We're just like laughing.
Oh my God! Were you crying? Were
But
you a kid like, oh my God, my grandma! Don't take my
yeah,
grandma!
no, I knew it was as part of the show, but it was just hilarious because my grandpa, he's
Yeah.
Mr. Wisecracker.
Oh, and by the way, Knott's Berry Farm has its own like theater, own stage. So they actually do performances there. They've known to do like they'll invite the community, so local schools, elementary schools, and junior high schools will and high schools will come there and do performances there. So because it's a bigger theater, right? The bigger auditoriums are bigger than most school auditoriums. So family, friends can come watch. They have a lot of Christmas programs there, so a lot of the local community schools that come there to host their programs will come there specifically because of their large theater. I also know friends that are one I know costumer. I know a lot of people in entertainment, so I have a friend that's a costumer for Knott's Berry Farm. So she fits them with all she and I think she used to actually work for Disneyland. So the attention to detail, she's brought a lot of that training over to Knott's Berry Farm. So she's doing the same. She's kind of revamping their whole uniform and costumes and whatnot. So I have a friend that does that, and I have friends that also are performers there. So they do stage shows. They do like some Western stage shows, hence the name Stagecoach and things like that. So there's definitely, they're stepping up their game with the entertainment side or the performance side of it. So it's not just a theme or roller coaster theme park anymore. Now it's kind of they're trying to be, a conglomerate of all things entertainment. So.
There's even because one thing I want to mention too, there's actually this barbecue pit that's right across, just north of Knott's Berry Farm,
Hmm.
and you can actually get tickets for a lunch there, and you get a discounted ticket to get into the park.
Oh, very
So
cool.
you can actually save a lot of money. So let's say the park admission's $55. You can actually get the lunch thing for like 25 or $30, and then you get free admission to the park as well.
There you go.
Yeah, so it's worth checking out. It's right next to the, like, just north of the park. It's this little, and it's really good. It's like a barbecue. They have, it's a barbecue type of lunch kind of thing.
Wow.
It's worth checking out.
Very cool. And then one more thing to say about the city of Buena Park and the adjacent area of Knott's Berry Farm. To the east of it is Buena Park Mall. So if you find yourself needing some, quick garment changes or whatever, you can go down to the mall. There's even a Korean movie theater not too far from there, and a bunch of restaurants in the mall. But along Beach Boulevard, where Knott's Berry Farm is located, there's a ton of restaurants, and we spoke about one of them earlier, Medieval
Medieval
Times.
times, just north of there.
And
Yeah.
then a brand new restaurant, and it's a, not restaurant, but a pastry shop, which is Porto's. And rest in peace, Mama Porto's passed away not too long ago. But definitely Porto's is one of the most famous pastries and bakery shop. I think they do Cuban based foods, right? Isn't that what
Yeah.
Porto's is? Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of so there's that, and then right up the street is Rock and Brews. So if anybody finds themselves leaving Knott's Berry Farm and want to go hang out and take in some good music and some good food and beer and whatnot, you can go to Rock and Brews. Again, there's tons of restaurants up and down Beach Boulevard, so it's definitely a happening place. So it's not just Knott's Berry Farm, but for sure they're definitely expanding that whole area there. So good things to know when you are planning a trip out to Knott's Berry Farm. Okay. Now, last but certainly not least, but last on this list at least is, let me just bring this picture up here, is Legoland. And this is south of Orange County. It's in the San Diego County, or at the very, very tip of the San Diego County, in the city of Carlsbad, where my brother lives. Legoland. I think I've only been one time. I don't know. Maybe. I honestly can't remember if I've been. So that probably means no. Have you been, Johnny?
I've been there one time when they first opened.
Okay.
At the time, I was living in San Diego. I lived in Pacific Beach. Or actually, I lived in Rancho Penasquitos, which was
Yeah.
for a little while. Then we moved to Pacific Beach afterwards. But yeah, we went when they first opened Legoland. So it wasn't quite what it is now.
Yeah.
So my experience, it was interesting. It was really nice because I would commute sometimes when I'd come back to LA. I would take that same freeway. I think it's called the 78.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, the 78 freeway, and that's where they built Legoland right off of there. So it
Right.
was kind of cool because they built something on my commute back
They
because I'd
really
go once
needed
a
it.
month back to LA. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, if you're here in Southern California, whether you live here or visiting, the stretch from Orange County all the way to San Diego, it's like nothing but roads. There's
Yeah.
really,
It's a lot of
maybe,
space.
yeah, a lot of space. Maybe San Onofre, like Johnny mentioned earlier, San Onofre Beach, right down south, to the right, or you'll pass the famous, oh gosh, what's the Marine Corps? Oh, God.
Marineland or
No. What's
Eagle?
the military
Oh yeah, yeah.
Camp Pendleton. There you go. You'll
Yeah,
pass
Camp
Camp
Pendleton.
Pendleton. So typically there's really nothing in between, say, Camp Pendleton all the way down to like San Diego. There's like nothing. I shouldn't say nothing. Nothing that stands out. Nothing that really like grabs your attention. Legoland does. It's a little inward, but it's definitely, you'll see signs and you'll see. It's one place to stop off. Let's say if you're taking a few days to travel from Orange County to San Diego. Definitely something to visit. Now, it's, as Johnny mentioned, when they first started out, they were just a theme park. They didn't have the resort. Now they have an actual resort. They have a hotel, and it's based on Lego fixtures and whatnot. It's not made out of Lego, thank God. Imagine everywhere. But
Can you imagine?
yeah, oh my God, I would totally die if they did. I'd be like, oh my God, it's made out of Legos. Don't quote me because it's not. I just saw pictures. It's not. But they definitely have a whole resort now. So it's not just the theme park, it's a whole resort. Now, 4th of July, it's one of the places, if you're like looking for a new place to go check out 4th of July fireworks and you're tired of the city, let's say, head on up to Legoland. You could sit in the parking lot for free, and they shoot the fireworks off towards the beach because when you face west, you'll face Oceanside, right? Um, or Carlsbad rather, Carlsbad Oceanside, and that's where they fire off the fireworks. But just in case the fallout, they want to make sure the fallout doesn't fall out into the homes, you know. So, but for sure, it's one of the new happening places to watch fireworks. It's maybe not as extravagant, say like that of Disneyland's fireworks, but it's definitely they have pyrotechnic that's also choreographed to theme music. So I went there twice during 4th of July fireworks, so it was fun. It was, and it's just a place. It's like having a what is it? A tailgate party. You're just basically out there with your cars, your chairs, your cooler of drinks, and bring a blanket and you just bundle up and watch the fireworks. It's kind of short too, so if you don't mind the traffic afterwards, it's another place to go visit or to watch fireworks. But I've never been. I don't think. I want to say I've not because none of this looks familiar. I'm like, I don't remember that. I don't remember that. But yeah, for sure someplace. So those are it, you guys. What do you think? Did you guys enjoy this? Let's hear some. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to take some of your questions now. Let's just move this over to Johnny and myself. But we're really happy that you guys were here to be here for our first collaborative podcast. We are planning a few more in the near future. Topics will be determined. We don't know them yet as of yet, but if we'll be happy to explore any topics. If anybody has any topics they'd like to have us look into or to discuss. But Johnny, how'd you feel? Feel good? You have fun?
Yeah, I think it's really good to have these discussions because a lot of people know the theme parks, but there's a lot of little areas in California that are little hidden gems,
Yeah.
that people that are a little older, maybe they want to have a more intimate setting with the family, to go to dinner, to see something that they see on TV,
Yeah.
you know. And what's really cool about California, there's a lot of spots that are in movies. A lot of
True.
people that are movie fans. There's a lot of locations, like Pasadena. My friend lives right there in South Pasadena, and they film so many movies there that when you go there, you'll recognize spots from movies,
Yeah.
like left and right. It's amazing.
Well,
And
and
even no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, go finish.
Yeah, so California, it's not only is there really nice little spots to go like Venice Beach and the
Mm-hmm.
Boardwalk and Santa Monica, but besides the theme parks, which are great to go to, there's a lot of hidden areas that are really worth checking out,
True.
especially if you're gonna be there with family and you want to show them around. They're not gonna be there anytime soon.
Yeah.
It's
And I want to add to that as well. I mean, this list was obviously not inclusive, right? There's so much more to see and do here in California that we hadn't even touched on.
yeah,
There's even
the beaches,
the
the
beaches.
fishing, the whale. There's
Hmm.
like Newport, you can go to take the boats to go
Yes,
fishing off the coast, and
yes,
there's even the whale watch. You can actually try to find whales and dolphins.
true. And then there's ski lodges that you can go visit during the winter, like
Big Bear,
Big Bear,
Fun go
and
skiing.
Mountain High, and
Mountain High, yeah, Mountain
yeah,
High for if you want to learn skiing.
Yeah, for sure. During, the very short winter season that we have here. And then all the way up to, Northern Cal, or not necessarily Northern Cal, but, Northern Los Angeles area, greater Los Angeles area.
Mhm.
Magic Mountain, we didn't touch on that. Magic Mountain is
Or Universal
another.
Studios if you want to see the backlots,
True.
the
So
Psycho House.
all these other
Mhm.
theme parks that we hadn't even touched on. So again, these are not all inclusive. What we did today was not all inclusive, and maybe we'll touch on that another, do other attractions that you can come visit during, while you come out to California, or if you're in California. But there's a lot of, like Johnny says, a lot of hidden places, and then we didn't even touch on some of the like sporting arenas, like
Oh yeah, Angel
Staples Center.
Stadium,
Yeah, Angel Stadium, Staples Center's
Dodger
right outside
Stadium,
of Staples Center is LA Live, a
and the
whole new
brand
thing.
new Carson that's going to be for the LA Chargers.
There you go.
And
And the sports arena. There's
yeah,
goodness. Remember the fabulous forum.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, there's so much. So if you guys want to see more about what's happening in California or things to visit in California, let us know. You can always DM us. Evie, can you shout out Discord just in case? Anybody that wants to shout out or wants to join the Discord, you can join the Discord. Message either myself or Johnny, and then let us know if there's any other attractions you'd be interested in learning about. We'd be happy to look into those. And then again, our next topic is, we're not sure what that is yet, but we think. And if your guys, um, the frequency of these podcasts right now, we're thinking maybe weekly, or we may change to bi-monthly, so every other week. So we're not sure yet, but definitely stay in touch with us in Discord, and we'll be announcing the next time we go live and what topics we'll discuss. So love to hear from you guys. If you have any questions, please be sure to join the Discord and let me know, let myself know, or Johnny know. And we'll be happy to, answer some of your questions. But Johnny, thank you so much for being a part of this. I'm so
Oh, no
excited.
problem.
It was a lot of
Thank you
fun.
for having me, Annie.
Absolutely. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. We're really, really, truly, I'm truly excited to have brought this opportunity or had this opportunity to bring to you this segment of Annie Talks. But as time permits, we think it's going to be about an hour and a half, like we did today. Bye, Magnificent. Nice to see you. We're going to do another meetup real soon. We have so many people to meet. There's so many more people in California that we just found out. So, yeah, we're gonna host another one. But we're super excited you guys were here. Yes. Oh my God, Johnny, are you going to NAM? You're not going to NAM. I'm going to NAM. Magnificent. I'll see you at NAM. You got to hit me up. Join my Discord so that we can stay in touch, and we'll meet up with each other. I have a booth there at NAM. By the way, Sandwich Islands Network has a booth at NAM where we will be hosting live interviews as well. So, anyways, I may game. Yes. Oh, by the way, we are gaming tonight for sure. We are gaming tonight. I'm going to start a 6 or 6:30 game night tonight. So if anybody wants to join, we'll definitely jump on that. We'll play a couple games of Jackbox, and then we'll head on over to do some Roblox. We'll probably play that new game called Use Your Words. Definitely wanted to be part of that. Oh, one more quick mention. Next week, if I don't fall asleep then, okay, do your best. Don't worry if you can't. I understand. One quick mention, solo duet showcase next week, Sunday, January 12th. If you don't know about this, again, join my Discord and you'll have all the information. But to sum it up briefly, the showcase is a duet yourself. So it's a soloette, we're calling it. You would open up a seed in Twitch Sings, singing part 1, then you would close the seed singing part 2. I recommend and highly encourage harmonizing, using props and costumes and special effects, whatever you'd like to do. Be creative, and then you do need to be in the stream on the Annie Talk Show stream, in the Annie Talk Show stream, and you need to join, exclamation point, join, to showcase your duet. Now, you also need to pin your duet to the top of your completed duets section so that we can find it easier. It makes it so much easier for me to find it. So there you go. Hope to see you guys next week Sunday, and then when you join the Discord, we will announce the next time we go live with this another segment of the podcast, and featuring Johnny freaking Rico. All right, guys, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I don't think I'm gonna raid anybody. I do need to I've got to have a hard stop real quick because I got to go pick up my daughter. But I really appreciate all those that were in the chat, and thank you so much. Hopefully, we'll have more people join us this next time. So spread the word, let everybody know, and the VOD will also be available. I will download the VOD and upload it to YouTube, so I will have that link in Discord shortly. Thank you guys also very much. Johnny, thanks again for being my co-host. Really
Thank you,
appreciate
Annie.
it.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day. I will talk to you all soon. Bye.